Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Mays Family Homestead. So you may have noticed I've been out for a little bit. We've had friends with breaks, friends with COVID, and of course, my first passion is making sure that our friends are okay and that everything's gonna go well. So we're getting right back into it with a request from Omaha that we do some Arroz Con Pollo. So what we have here right now, I'm gonna scooch down a little. We have just chicken. Now remember that when you're doing chickens and things like that, you want to go ahead and dry the skin if you're gonna apply other things to it. I just can't get it in focus here. Okay, so we want to start off with our chicken being rinsed and dried. We're gonna take 2 tablespoons. You can use olive oil. This is avocado oil. So I'm going to take the 2 tablespoons, I'm going to drizzle the first one over. And then I've got it set aside about 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 2 teaspoons of pepper. So we're going to just kind of spread it on with our fingers because we're going to turn these over and do the same process over again. So we don't want to dump the whole plate into it. And get some salt. And of course, when you turn it over and it's getting on the plate and everything else, of course, it's gonna start soaking in. But we want to get these good and rubbed down before we start them. And if you miss the step of actually drying things down, it actually is quite an important step. It does really help the skins and things not have so much water content. I'm going to be cleaning up bottles after I'm done because of chickens, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to take this last little bit we have left over. Just spread, spread, spread. Now, if you don't feel like you have enough of anything, you know, feel free to add more to your plate. I think I'm going to do a little less pepper. I'm going to steal the cumin out of there. One of my all-time favorite flavors. So we're just going to give them a little bit of a massage with this. And then as you roll them around the plate, you know, things are going to pick up from the plate. Things are going to pick up from where you're having it all over the place, of course. And if you need to, you know, try and pick it up with your skins, try and put it in the middle. Anything you need to do just to make sure that you have a really nice coating. And this is going to count more toward the end where you start seeing that golden and almost darkened color, almost like a jerk chicken style across your chicken. All right, guys, so we took a little break in there because I had to get my chicken all rubbed down. So I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil in here. I'm gonna let it heat up just a minute. We wanna put it into extremely hot temperatures just to start. We wanna kind of crisp up the skin, get it started, and get it kind of working through. So we have our chicken all dressed out, and I'm gonna use tongs this time. I like feeling my product, so doing the massaging and things with my hand, not a big deal to me. All right, so as we do with many things, especially tortillas, we just want to test that oil level. See how hot it's getting, see what we're putting into the pan. So if we get a little snap, crackle, pop, we're of course feeling pretty good about it. So we got a little bit going, and we're pretty much going to cook this out. So I'm going to save the plate behind, wash it, and there's going to be another step which requires us to take the chicken out after it's cooked and go ahead and cook down some onions and things. So we're just gonna let this cook on because it's gonna be a little bit. We'll get back when we start adding the onions and the bell peppers, and oh my gosh, it is so fragrant in here. All right, guys, we'll be right back with you. All right, my little non-expert foodies, we're going to get into the thick of this. I did brown my chicken a little bit more. You're not cooking it through necessarily because you're gonna put it back in the oven. But I did go a little bit further because it was also frozen. So I wanna make sure that I get a good cook on that and make sure that it's still ready when I need it to be. So we just took out the chicken. We're gonna add to the same oils and things the onion. So this is about a cup of onion. I just used the whole onion. It was about a medium-sized onion, and I had it, so I figured I might as well use it. We have, normally this is done with red bell pepper. This is what I had in my freezer, so I just chopped it up a little more fine. It comes to about a little over a cup. I'm real into my vegetables, so I always enjoy having them there. And we're gonna put in the 4 cloves of garlic, which really equals out to about 4 teaspoons. So we're just gonna saw this down. We're gonna saw this meal down. So you're gonna have some sticking to the bottom just from your chicken and your spices and things. You can kind of lift that up, but eventually your rice is gonna kind of stick down there as well. That's kind of one of the amazing things of Arroz Con Pollo, is getting that nice heavy crust on the bottom. So over in my second pot, which you probably saw sitting there, I have chicken broth. So I don't use turmeric. It's not one of those things that I really enjoy very much. So I did an extra cube. This is 6 cups of water, and I went ahead and added 4 chicken bouillons. Still gonna give me the same color and things like that. Not unbelievable. I will add 1 extra or 2 extra. And the reason being is that I'm not a very big curry person. I'm not a very big turmeric person. So for me, those flavors are absolutely fine. All right, so I turned it down just a little too much. I'm not getting that translucency. And you're just gonna have to judge based on your stove, based on what you have working, is what heat works for you. So with the chicken, I used a high to kind of get that chicken skin going and a little bit crunchy. And then I kind of moved it down between about 6 and medium. So I had it at about 4 almost, just letting the chicken cook off some more. But now I'm up a little past medium, and we'll see, we'll hopefully get it to simmer in with us. It's just a testament to sometimes where you're at changes it, elevation changes it, sometimes just different pots and things like that. These are my heavy cast iron, something I am very proud of. You know, it took me a long time to acquire them. And they of course have the ceramic in the inside. So I'm still kind of learning to work with them. So we're just gonna do a little bit more. I'm gonna do about a 6, and I probably won't go up higher than that. I don't want to burn anything. I just want to get the onions translucent. And I'm pulling all those beautiful spices into my mix as well. Anything that may have stuck to the bottom a little bit. And of course with these pans, it is amazing. They don't stick permanently, so you're having problems getting them undone. So I know I'm going to use my stock or my bouillon pretty soon. So I'm going to just turn it up a little bit, let it get that boiling. and then we'll be right back with you just to get this all together at the very end. All right, guys, so we're in the final steps of everything. We're gonna go ahead and stir up our broth and make sure that the bouillon cubes have in fact melted down. I've got my little onions and bell peppers and things going. So I'm going to add this stock or bouillon broth to my pan. And I am going to add 2 cups of tomato sauce. Oh, it's going to make me... I wish I could find one just a little bit deeper for this situation. And this is actually 1 cup of sangria. It's got a nice, sweet, flavorful taste. And we're going to add in our rice. So I know this is going to take a little bit because it's going to be incredibly full. Of course, do not expect it from me yet. So we're going to put this up on high, let it come to a boil, and as the rice, you know, like I said, I wish I had a little deeper pot, but as the rice starts to take on the water, we'll start seeing a little bit less problematic things here. So I'm also going to add in my spices. So this is 2 bay leaves. I've got 4 teaspoons of oregano, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. This is not necessarily the way things would go, but as you all know me from now doing the show, that I always tend to add a little more just to make sure that that flavor is really hit in there. We really want to make sure that it has the most amazing flavors. Because if not, you wouldn't spend the time cooking it, right? So we're going to bring this out to a boil before I add in chicken. And I'm also going to allow this to simmer just a little bit so that I can get that rice going so that it starts to absorb some of this liquid and doesn't punch back at me. All right, guys, we're on our last step before we wait for it to finish. So I had it on high. It's starting to come to a boil. We don't want anything to burn, so we're going to do this to about a medium low. And we're going to add our chicken back. So now what we're going to do, we're going to keep this on a medium low. I did switch pots because, of course, I realized that I do what I always do. I fill things up. So we're going to leave this for about 45 minutes. Let it simmer, let it do its thing, let the rice soak in, and then we'll come back and see when it's all done. All right, guys, we're back for that last look at the Arroz Con Pollo. And the nice thing is we've got beautiful skin on here. We've helped the fat. We've got the stuff soaked in. So this is where we end this video, is with a beautiful Arroz Con Pollo. If you do decide that you would like turmeric in, so it'd be about a teaspoon. Turmeric goes a long way. It's got a very healthy smell and vibrant taste, so you don't really need to put, or you can use ananote. So either one, if you're desiring that particular earthy type of flavor. So that would go in with all the spices when you're done with that. Guys, I've had a beautiful day with you guys today. I pray for all of you that you are staying healthy and away from COVID, and just in your normal lives as well for whatever happens. And we will see you next time when we put another meal together. Hey guys, I just wanted to add one final thought to this, and it was something I had meant to say. So when you're doing arroz con pollo or any of these that require you to use non-minute rice, best thing you can do is have the largest pot, well, almost like a skillet. I would love to have a paella pan for this, just because they have a width that really helps with the cooking and really helps absorb that rice. When you have to switch to a pot like this for the depth, you often have to give it a little bit more time because it doesn't necessarily soak in as well. If it's spread out over a pot or over a pan, it does help with the cooking. So you may be seeing a little bit of variances in how your rice is cooking. You may have to move it around a little bit more, and you may have to give it just a little bit more time. So I did about 50 minutes on this, and I'm noticing I still have little bits of pieces that they're cooked, they're just not cooked as fully as I would like them to be. So it is always something. The wider your pan is in this particular instance, which is why I was trying to use the other pot, but 4 cups of rice doesn't fit in my other pot or pan. If you are using that, it does make this meal a lot better. So just a hint, just a tip. We'll see you next time.